Stop what you're doing, cause I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you used to. I look funny, but yo, I'm making money, see? So yo, world, I hope you're ready for me. I gotta run out. I'm a little fool in town. If my sound's ready, then I'm out behind the ground. I wake up all the head and see the guy in the shelf. So just let me introduce myself,
My name's David Thistle, and I have a solution for STEM, the border wall situation in Texas and along the Mexican border. The question I want to ask today is, whose vision of the future are you and I going to leave for our children? Is it going to be a Republican or a Democratic vision, or is it going to be an American vision? Is it going to be an inclusive vision, or is it going to be exclusive in nature? We seem to be at a crux right now in the United States and in Washington, D.C., where we can't make agreements on certain decisive arguments. A few months ago, we went through a government shutdown and put 800,000 federal employees out of work for 30 days without pay, but they were showing up and still doing their jobs. 800,000 people showing up for work and not getting a paycheck. That's unacceptable. We have a $22.5 trillion budget deficit in the United States of America. We're in debt, $22.5 trillion, and yet we just spent $6.2 billion on an argument in D.C. between the Republicans and Democrats. We can't afford this anymore, folks. Our kids need school supplies, and our children deserve better. My proposal is simple. I'd like to build some windmills instead of a wall. You can't really see the slides, but I'll make them available on YouTube at the bottom of the screen. So some simple facts. The United States has 1,954 miles of shared border with Mexico. Texas has 1,254 miles of that shared border with Mexico. Texas also has 28 natural border crossings with Mexico. Hundreds of people attempt to illegally cross and enter the United States daily through Texas. And that's not just Mexicans or Central American people, folks. That's people from all over the world. Texas is the only state within the continent of the United States with a freestanding power grid. Texas has proven effective windmills up in the northwest corner of the state. 80% of all illegal drugs entering the United States cross through Mexico. Texas has already had an outbreak of Ebola and other deadly viruses. So the Chinese proverb says, when the winds of change come, some men build walls while others build windmills. There's several different kinds of windmills we could build. But if we built 100 windmills, the V150 Vestas that Lego actually created a Lego for, we could provide power to 470,000 homes and businesses for a $220 million price tag. It's $220 million, not billion, $220 million. In 2009, President Obama spent a reported $90 billion on clean energy. During his last 4 years of the Obama administration, over 230,000 American citizens died of opioid overdose. I keep linking the border and the energy grid with the serious problem of the drugs coming into the country. There's a reason for that. I'll get to it in a minute. Nearly 80% of all the opioids crossed into the United States cross through the border of U.S. and Mexico. Today, approximately 211 American citizens a day die of opioid overdose. 50 of those 211 are from prescribed opioid medications. So how do we pay for the windmills? How do we get $220 million out of a budget? The U.S. Department of Energy has a 2019 budget of $30.6 billion. $996 million is set aside for energy efficiency and renewable energy. The high-end cost without production discounts for the 100 windmills is only $220 million of that $696 million that's already set aside for renewable energy. So the money is there, folks. All we have to do is access it. And how do we use a windmill with an effective patrol solution for the Border Patrol and the police? Well, that comes with other research that we have in technology. Technology like drones and FlyBoardAirs by Frankie Zapata that you can view on YouTube. Once again, I'll link the YouTube video of a FlyBoardAir to the video at the end. In 2019, U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration budget is $28 billion. The DEA has a $6 billion discretionary budget authority. 80%, like I said, of all the illegal drugs coming into the United States cross through the Mexican-U.S. border. A flyboard versus a helicopter. Well, people ask what a flyboard is, and basically it's a flying skateboard. It's almost like you could take the Master Chief here over off the Statue of Liberty, and we could fly him at 103 miles an hour plus across the border as a Border Patrol agent. It's pretty interesting, because it could be used for other reasons too. We could use flyboards with the tandem stretcher that's built for the flyboards to evacuate personnel just like a life flight does. We could use flyboards and the flyboard personnel to evacuate towers in case we get hit again like 9/11 happened. People wouldn't have to jump. We can go to the top of a skyscraper if there's a fire in the middle, and we can evacuate those people now. We now have that technology. So why aren't we deploying it? We can do better for our kids. Helicopters use more fuel. They cost $16 million roughly a piece. They have more maintenance costs. The price of one helicopter at $16 million would pay for 53 flyboards, and that is at the public cost for the flyboard, not at full cost to the military or for a discounted cost for multiple flyboards. Flyboards are able to land in smaller areas, and flyboards have the ability of high-angle rescue again. We can use this as a rescue resource, not just something for patrol and security. A comprehensive medical physical is usually required to enter the United States. Viruses could and become pandemics quickly in the United States. Once again, Ebola, Zika, tuberculosis, H3N2, measles, and other viruses are deadly. It is the responsibility of the executive branch, according to the U.S. Constitution, to protect the citizens of the United States from outbreaks of epidemics or pandemics within our borders. The 28 natural border crossings of the Texas-Mexico border would be ideal to place emergency medical facilities to prevent viruses, disease, and pestilence from entering the United States at any time. An initial estimate of $2.2 million per crossing would provide reasonable accommodations for medical care in hopes of preventing an outbreak of a pandemic within our borders. These people are coming to the United States. America is a great country. We're the greatest nation in the world. We're supposed to be inclusive, according to our founding fathers' values. And these people are not going to turn around and walk back 60,000 miles, or wherever they're coming from, to a drug-infested, unsecure location where they can't raise their children safely. And we're partially to blame for that because of the drug problem in America. We produce that problem down in countries like Nicaragua. The United States military supported leadership in those countries that should not have existed. And the drug cartels were able to come into the United States and distribute their product because there was a demand for it. So we need to change not just the culture of the United States, but we need to change our values. And it's about morals and accountability. It's not about the drug at this point. The drugs are here. We have to deal with it now. It's about control, not just containment, it's about control. So why do I bring up these three things together? Well, Health and Human Services, the funding of medical aid to the border is a preventative measure. And the budget for HHS for 2020 is $1.5 trillion. HSS has a discretionary budget authority of $69 billion. And I'm asking for $2.2 million for 28 border crossings. The Border Solution Preventative Measure would cap at about $61.6 million. And they have a discretionary budget of $69 billion. This is a simple fix, people. The budget is already in the bank. The budget's there. Combining the science, technology, engineering, and math, and resources mentioned at the border crisis is solvable. Rotating dual telescopic night vision cameras can be mounted on the tower of the windmill. FlyBoardAir patrol personnel could easily and effectively catch and effect arrests of trespassers. 28 medical processing stations could medically screen potential migrants to stop potential health risks to the United States citizens. It's simple. We use 3 different organizations as one. We work together. The electricity produced by the windmills would aid the citizens of Texas financially and create green energy. So there's a win-win for the Republicans and the Democrats. Everyone's screaming for a border solution, and everyone's screaming for green energy in Washington. I just gave you 2 solutions. The windmills, the B-150s, once again, would cost about $220 million. The medical clinics would cap at $61.6 million. And the FlyBoardAirs, 30 in total, would cost about $9 million. That could be paid for by DEA funds. We could use a combination of DARPA and the military, the Department of Homeland Security, current U.S. forces, Texas DPS, military construction crews, public health, and we could train local personnel, civilian personnel, to work on the windmills as electricians and create jobs. Like I said, it's a win-win. The total estimate, without the drones and the cameras, not the flyboards, just the small drones that would chase people until they would deploy the police if they're not at the border checkpoint, would cost a total of $290.9 million. $290 million. That's about $300 million. I think a basketball player just got paid $400 million for a contract, and the baseball guy just got $430 million. And I'm talking about a border solution that would work for less than $300 million, creating jobs and saving lives in America. That's it. Thank you. Have a nice day.